Welcome to Intuitive Alchemy, the space where we turn cosmic and spiritual insight into practical, real-world healing. I'm Sydney, trained intuitive, energetic alchemist, and medical astrologer in training. And on Intuitive Alchemy, I get personal. We don't do surface level here. We go deep. No fluff, just the energetic shifts, raw stories, and grounded practices that actually change your life and activate your personal power. Now let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to Intuitive Alchemy. I am so excited for today's episode. I'm actually feeling super low energy like I was all weekend and I still am today, but I absolutely did not want to skip or reschedule this episode because I've been saying that I'm going to talk about this for quite a while now, like probably since the beginning of the podcast. And I know that it's a very relevant topic as so many of us, especially women, have this issue or this imbalance in our physical bodies. And it's very, very emotional and energetic. Well, just as all physical ailments are, they begin with emotional root causes, and they develop in our light bodies before they ever even think about manifesting into our physical bodies. But today we are going to be talking about the emotional root causes or cause of thyroid imbalance. And then I'm also going to talk to you about some specific clues that you can look for in your chart, like placements you can look for in your birth chart to see if you may be predisposed to developing a thyroid imbalance. Even if you don't have one now, you can actually get ahead of it. You can be like, oh, okay, so I've got Taurus in the second house, so maybe I need to take some preemptive measures to avoid something like this developing. So this is not only for you if you are a thyroid issue girly. This is for anyone who also just wants to keep an open throat chakra, because why would you not want that? Why would you want a closed off chakra? Any of them. So, okay, let's talk about the thyroid. I have shared with you before that I was diagnosed, I think it was either January or March, honestly, and I don't remember exactly which one that it was, but it was one of those. And I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism. I'm always like, hold on, is it hypo or hyper? But it's hypo because it's like the slower one. And then I don't think I have shared this because this is more recent news, but I also had an ultrasound done on my thyroid, and it showed that I did have a couple nodules and nodes. So basically, like, that's something that's really common. Like, actually, probably a lot of us have them and don't even, like, you'll never even know about it, unless you do have some reason that your doctor would send you to get an ultrasound, and then you're like, oh, okay. Hey there, nodes. So I had some of those, but it's very common specifically with people that have Hashimoto's, because the thyroid antibodies that develop that then start attacking the thyroid, like, just cause inflammation, and they can result in some nodules or nodes. And sometimes they're concerning, sometimes they're not. Only one of mine was like almost concerning. And I opted to just take kind of like, I'll recheck it in like 6 months, because I really truly believe that I can heal it through energy work and this emotional work and nervous system healing that I'm doing. So we're gonna give it a go and see what it looks like in 6 more months. And if it's still there and if it's still the same size, then I will look at my options. But Anyway, so if you have ever struggled with thyroid issues, whether it is Hashimoto's, the autoimmune disorder, or just hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, nodules, nodes, or just kind of like that lump in your throat feeling like you just can't explain it, and it's like not something that could be diagnosed, and it's not something that a doctor is confirming for you, or like that a doctor would even be able to find anything, but it's just like a blocked throat chakra that you're like, I know something's going on here, but it's maybe not quite something diagnosable, which like that's a good thing. It's definitely, you can catch it kind of maybe earlier. I wish that I had been in that kind of a position, but everything happens, I guess, as it's supposed to. So so if you just also, maybe you don't have any of those things, like you're like, I don't feel like I have a blocked throat chakra, I don't have physical symptoms, I don't have any thyroid issues, but I just know that there's some unspoken things that I've been holding in, like I've been biting my tongue and keeping some things in. This episode is for you, okay? So let's talk about the throat chakra, the suppressed voice, and let's just get into it. So today we're going to really dive into the emotional layer and like the emotional root cause. Why does this even show up in the first place? And like I said, I'm going to talk through some placements in the chart that you can look at that can indicate thyroid imbalance or blocked throat chakra. So what's interesting about the thyroid is it's actually the bridge between the mind and the body. And I just think that's so interesting. It's kind of like, you might listen and be like, duh, but I'm like, okay, that is so interesting. So those of us who live very, very much in the mind, in the brain, in the crown, third eye chakra, and, not as much in the body, the throat is so important because it like takes what's in your mind and kind of bridges it with what's in the body and connects the two. And the thyroid is also the only organ that's governed directly by the pituitary gland. That's your master gland that carries out the higher orders of the body. So whenever you've been ignoring your truth or suppressing your truth, bypassing your own needs to be more palatable or to be likable, to keep the peace, to be good, quote unquote, to be like the good girl. Eldest daughters, I'm talking to you with that one specifically. Whenever you've swallowed what you really wanted to say 1,000 times, or even just a few times, and you start to create that neural pathway of, oh, I don't speak my truth. I don't speak up for myself. I don't advocate for myself. And I just swallow it and it just stays in my body. Your thyroid starts to carry that. Those words and those things that go left unsaid, they don't just disappear. They don't just dissolve. They stay in your body. So I've talked about this a lot, and I mean, I'm certainly not the only one talking about it. It's a very real thing, just like I've talked about in other episodes, just like emotions, stress, trauma, sadness, guilt, all of those emotions. Whenever you feel them and then you make a choice to suppress it or avoid it or whatever, like it stays in your body and it gets absorbed into your fascia and your organs and all of that, your nervous system. It's the same thing with these words that you are potentially not speaking. So it's very, very, very important to catch yourself and not do that whenever you realize that may be what's going on. So, all right, so what's the emotional root causes? What are the emotional root causes of thyroid issues? So energetically, thyroid imbalances are connected to suppressed self-expression, fear of being seen and or heard. Could be one or the other, or it could be both. Most of the times it's probably both. Perfectionism and overperformance, swallowing anger, and living from the shoulds. Like, you should do this, or I should do this, I should be like this, I should say this, I shouldn't say this, instead of living in soul alignment or higher self alignment. So those are the main reasons. Another reason, which I didn't write down here, but is suppressing, which this goes a lot along with suppressed self-expression, but suppressed creativity. So, and I think I've even talked about that in a previous episode, but if you are not creating, especially as a woman, I mean, like, humans are here to create, like, that's literally probably the most primal like purpose that we have as humans is to create, but especially women, we have this incredibly like potent ability to be able to create and of course, you know, life and to carry a child in our wombs. But I'm not just talking about that, of course. I'm talking also just about creating whatever, like birthing whatever it is that you want to in the world. It could be a project, it could be a book, it could be a human, you know, it could be an idea, it could anything, it could be literally anything. But if you are not creating and you're suppressing that creative flow that we all have within us, some of us are more than others, but we all have that, and we all need to be creating whatever it is that our souls came here to create. And when we're not, that can also very, very, very much lead to thyroid issues, thyroid imbalance, as well as depression. Like, that's beside the point. We're not really talking about depression in this episode, but that is also a surefire way to become clinically depressed. So, and it's no accident that so many women, especially intuitive, high achieving, like empathic, heart-led women, are experiencing thyroid problems. I mean, it is absolutely rampant. I had no idea. And I think it's kind of also maybe one of those things where whenever you find out that you like have something or you are a part of a group, like you become more aware of how common it is. Like before I ever had thyroid issues, like, yeah, you hear people talk about like thyroid medication, or like my mom has Hashis. And so I had heard her talk about it and everything before, but I didn't realize like how many young women have it. Like, this is not just mainly people who are like in their 50s, 60s. This is like women in their 20s, women in their 30s. It is so incredibly common. And it now, knowing what I know now, I'm like, this makes so much sense, because so many of us are out here suppressing our voices and our truth and not expressing our true feelings about things. And we're just like being a good girl and staying quiet and trying to be like peaceful and amicable and make everyone happy, like people pleasing. And what is it getting us? It's getting us fucking sick. It's getting us to where our nervous system becomes so dysregulated that then the thyroid's also not working, and then our metabolism shuts off, and then we put on weight, and then we're really mean to ourselves about putting on weight, and then, you know, all these things, like it's all related. It's crazy how everything, like nothing is a mystery, even though, like, you know, if it happens slowly over time, you might be like, oh my gosh, how did all this happen? Like, but when you really start to dissect it, it all makes perfect sense. It is not a mystery. And when you think of it that way, it's actually kind of a good thing, because who really wants to be a medical mystery? Like, not me. Not me. It's not a good feeling. So anyway, all of like the intuitive, high achieving, empathic women, we've been taught that, or we've maybe we haven't been taught, but maybe we just have absorbed the messaging that our truth is like too much, and that our needs are inconvenient. Our voice is only acceptable if it's like so like really sweet and soft and feminine, and it doesn't like really make any waves. It doesn't upset anyone or, you know, offend anyone, God forbid. But here is the real truth. Your voice is your vitality. Your voice is your vitality. Your expression is your energetic thermostat. Think about that. Your expression is your energetic thermostat. So what are you setting it to? What are you setting it to? Okay, let's jump into the astrology aspect of the thyroid issues, because yes, there are placements in your chart that can help you understand why your throat might be blocked and how to start unblocking it. So here there are several ones that we're going to look at today, like main ones. And medical astrology is so incredibly complex. So I'm just going to go in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5. We're going to talk about 5 today, but just know that there are more. So if you're listening to this and you don't have any of the specific like kind of placements that I talk about, but you're like, well, but Sydney, I do have Hashimoto's, or I do have hypothyroidism, or I do have a blocked throat chakra. That's okay. This is not a prescriptive, like, if you have this, then you have this, or if you don't have this, then you don't have this. This is not that. So just know that. Okay. So we're going to talk about Mercury first. This one might be probably like the most obvious one because Mercury rules communication, and it also rules the nervous system, as we have talked about, and your mental loops, like those thought loops that you get stuck in. So here's what you want to check in your birth chart. What sign is your Mercury in? What house is it in? And is it this is a little bit more advanced here. Is it retrograde or tightly aspected? I will be creating content that explains this a little bit more, but for the purpose of this episode, I'm just going to kind of go through this. But if you're like, how do I know if it's retrograde, or how do I know if it's tightly, excuse me, how do I know if it's tightly aspected? You can either look it up or you can wait until I create some more content that's teaching a little bit more on this. But the bottom line is a stressed Mercury can indicate chronic overthinking, chronic overthinking, perfectionism, or just a general feeling like unsafe to speak clearly or to speak authentically, I guess you could say. So if you have, like I have the Time Passages app, and I actually really love it. It will tell you your aspects. You can click on like your name and then click on birth chart, and then you can click aspects, and it will tell you your strong aspects, your medium, and then like your weaker aspects. And so that's something, and I believe it's free. Like I don't think I paid anything for this app. So Time Passages app, if you do want to look and see if you have any like strong Mercury aspects, or if you just, it will of course tell you what house your Mercury is in, as well as of course the sign. Okay, next one is second house and Taurus. So the thyroid is ruled by Venus, and the second house governs self-worth, embodiment, and the neck. So second house, self-worth, embodiment, and the neck. The thyroid is ruled by Venus. Taurus is also ruled by Venus. So check if you have any planets in Taurus or the second house. Either one. Doesn't have to be Taurus in the second house. It could be. But just check what you have in the second house. And if you have, I'm sorry, I'm just like going brain dead right now. Check if you have planets in Taurus or in the second house. Especially if it's one like Saturn or Chiron, because those can be a little bit more potent in this case. Well, Saturn's always potent. Like, my gosh, Saturn just is here to fuck some shit up. And then ask yourself if you have those placements, where have you been undervaluing yourself, and where have you been afraid to take up space? That do some really like taking radical responsibility, getting so incredibly honest with yourself in where you could have been doing those things. Okay, and then the third thing we're going to talk about is fifth house and Leo. This is about expressive truth, like singing or speaking or showing up boldly in some way. And a blocked fifth house can feel like, because this is funny, but it can feel kind of like you're creatively constipated. It's like you just feel blocked. You're like, I know that there's a lot in there, but it's stuck and it's not flowing. So check if you have Chiron, Saturn, or any other like heavy planets in the fifth house, like Pluto maybe. Pluto could be considered a heavy planet. So that could be a tipping point. And then sixth house and Virgo. The sixth house is all about health, stress, and perfectionism. And of course, that's also all very Virgo coded. Virgo energy can be very, very, very self-critical, like very perfectionistic and self-critical. So check if you have your Mercury or Moon in the sixth house, especially if it's in Virgo, but even if it's not. Because it might mean that your emotions are being processed mentally instead of somatically. So this is interesting because I don't have my moon in the sixth house and I don't have a Virgo moon, but I do tend to process mentally instead of somatically. So again, this doesn't apply to you if you don't have sixth house moon or Virgo moon. That's not what I'm saying. This is just like, if you have this, it's very likely that you also are highly self-critical and maybe you don't process your emotions somatically. Okay, third house, especially if you have your moon here, it's the house of expression and siblings and early programming around your voice. So what did you learn was acceptable when it comes to your voice? What did you learn to do and not to do? Like, were you taught early on that it's actually better for you not to speak up because you would get in trouble, or you would get grounded, or you would get made fun of, or just not taken seriously? Or were you taught that your voice is so incredibly valuable and important and everything you have to say is really profound and, honored? If that was what you were taught, then you may not have thyroid issues as an adult. I love that for you. So were you the kid that got told to like shut up or calm down or don't be so dramatic, be quiet? That's like major third house wounding that can pretty much almost guarantee some thyroid, at least, maybe if not thyroid issues, at least a blocked throat chakra, which then develops, if it goes unchecked, then develops into thyroid issues. Okay. So I have talked in a recent episode, I don't remember which one, but I talked in a recent episode about a tool that I have been using called JournalSpeak. And this concept was developed or created by Nicole Sachs. I don't think she's a doctor. I think she's like a therapist. So I don't think I'm like saying it wrong. I was going to say Dr. Nicole Sachs, and then I was like, I don't think so. But anyway, so she wrote the book called Mind Your Body, and I have it, but I haven't read it yet. But I heard her on a podcast, and she was talking about her method. Like, she helps so many women heal from chronic pain and autoimmune disorders and all kinds of physical conditions through her JournalSpeak method, which is basically like you make a list of, and she tells you all of this for free on her website, how to do this, but I'll just like summarize it for you. You make a list of like all of your past traumas, like from earlier life, and then you make a list of all your current stressors in your life, and then you make a list of like personality characteristics or traits that are a little for you, a little sticky for you, little maladaptive maybe. And then every single day you just like choose one from that list. Or if something new pops up and you're like, I just really need to get this out, then by all means choose that day, and you set a timer for 20 minutes and you just like write or type. I was doing typing, and you just get it out 20 minutes, like just say the quiet part out loud, like say the craziest, most unfiltered stuff that you would literally never say out loud to anyone else, and you would never want anyone to know that you said or thought. And then as soon as you're done, you delete it. And then she recommends after you're done, like doing something like a nervous system, regulatory practice, like maybe some humming, like some vagal toning with humming, drink some tea, maybe some gentle somatic movement, like something to kind of integrate you back into your day if you're feeling a little bit shaken up after just admitting some really crazy stuff. So this tool is incredible. And I love it. Like, I've been doing it. However, I was like, okay, so if I personally am doing all of this like work to heal my thyroid and to strengthen my ability to just like purge and release and speak up and use my voice, like I'm doing all these things, I wonder if it actually might be more effective for me to actually just voice note myself for 20 minutes, like record it on my voice notes for 20 minutes instead of typing it or writing it. Because for one, I also just like, I hate writing. And typing, like I do like typing, like I don't have a problem with that, but I was like, why would I not want to like make this more potent and use my voice to like literally unblock my own throat chakra? And so that is actually what I've been doing. I haven't been doing it every single day for the last week or so, but I have done it a few times and it feels really good. Like, so here's what, like, this is my little upgrade for this tool. So I open up my voice memo app. I set a timer for 20 minutes, or I mean, I guess you don't really have to set a timer because like you can see how long it's been on the voice recorder thing. But you just like let it out, unfiltered, raw. You can rage, you can admit your fears or your anxieties, your sadness, confusion, desire, shame, like literally everything that possibly comes up. Like you can call people names. You can say some really like just kind of unhinged stuff that you would never dream of saying to someone's face. And I don't listen back. Like I personally wouldn't recommend listening to it back because I don't want to overthink it. I don't want to be like, oh my God, why did I say that? Why do I feel that way? Like, that's not actually true. Blah, 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 blah. That's not nice. Like, no. That's going back into my head. I don't want to do that. I want to say it. I want to get it out. And then I want to forget about it. And so I immediately delete it. And I do this whether I'm typing it or whether I'm speaking it. Immediately, as soon as I'm done, delete. And so why, like, because at first I was like, okay, if I'm speaking it, and then I'm just deleting it, why do I even need to record it? So here's why. This is what I came to. And this, you may not resonate with this, but this is what I will offer you or what I'll suggest for you. So for me, whenever I'm looking at recording it as like I'm creating a portal for all of this energy that is not serving me to go. And then when I'm done with it, when it's gone from my body, it's gone from my throat, and it's now in this portal that I just created, I want to then destroy the portal. I don't need it anymore. I don't want it in my space. That was the whole point, is me getting it out. I don't want it. It's not helping me. It's actually harming me. So for me, I love the feeling of like, you're putting it somewhere, you're putting it in this little container, this little recording, and then you're destroying it. And it, for me, if I were to just like talk to myself for 20 minutes, like, yes, it would probably help, but like energetically, the hygiene of that doesn't feel great. Like, then it's just kind of the energy still in my mind, like floating around in my home or wherever, my car, wherever it is. And I don't want that. And so energetic hygiene wise, for me, like recording it and then deleting it is better. And then, yeah, that's just like part of reclaiming the voice. So if you are someone who's struggling with a blocked throat or you do have thyroid issues, I highly, highly recommend trying this practice. And I mean, like, you can do it anywhere that you're alone, obviously. Like, if you're speaking specifically, like, you probably don't want anyone to hear you. So you could go on a walk outside. Unless you live here in Arizona, then you probably don't want to be anywhere near outside for the next few months. But, you know, I don't need to tell you where you can do it. You know where you can do it. And even if you can't do 20 minutes, you know, can you do 15? Can you do 12? Can you do 10? I would just recommend doing something. I really do feel it making a difference. And also, I just like intuitively know that it's very powerful. So yeah. Also, some questions that I would invite you to ask if you are dealing with thyroid imbalances or a blocked throat is, where have I silenced myself? So you can just like literally journal out, where are all the times that you silenced yourself? What needs to be spoken instead of written? And that's just, you know, you don't have to necessarily write that out, but just like, what might you need to actually physically speak up about, whether it's to yourself in a voice note that you're going to delete, or whether it's to someone in your life. What needs to be spoken? And then, where am I choosing performance over presence? And this is a big one. Where are you abandoning yourself? Where are you abandoning your needs, or just not speaking up about your needs? Or you're self-sacrificing to keep the peace with someone else? Where are you performing? That's a powerful one. That's one that you got to get real honest with yourself about. And it may not be fun, but I promise you, like, that is such an act of self-love, to put yourself first in that way and to honor yourself in that way. That is such an act of self-love. And you should be so proud of yourself if you are able to do that, to sit with yourself in this. And lastly, what part of me is afraid to be fully heard? What part of you is afraid to be fully heard? Are you afraid that if you speak up, like, no one's going to care what you said, or that people are going to make fun of you, or they're going to misunderstand you? That's a big one for me. I still have to, even though it's proven to me every day that there are people who totally do understand me. Like, I still have to catch myself from getting into that belief of, oh, whenever I fully speak up and like share my truth or my wisdom or whatever, like, it's not going to be received because people just like don't get it. That's not true. Like, some people don't, but they're just not my people then, you know? So sometimes half the battle is really just like saying things out loud or writing things out and being like, well, that's kind of silly. Like, that's not true. And then you can just, sometimes it really is that easy. And it's not always. It's certainly, sometimes it is more complex and you're just like, okay, I need to work on this. But sometimes it really is like, wow, that's a really silly thing for me to like be making all these decisions based on, when like I literally can just say this out loud and know how silly it sounds and like know how untrue it is. And I can just instantly pivot. So I would invite you to ask yourself these questions. Where have I silenced myself? What needs to be spoken? Where am I choosing performance over presence? And what part of me is afraid to be fully heard? If you do have thyroid issues or a thyroid imbalance, your body is not broken. Your body is not out to get you. Your body is trying to protect you and at the same time trying to wake you up. Its symptoms are messages. I just posted something today on Instagram that the cover, it's a carousel, but the cover says, your body is the most honest thing about you. And I heard that. I'm taking like a gut health course from a naturopath who I absolutely love and I'm learning so much from. And she said something like that in one of the modules. And I literally wrote it down because I was just like, holy shit, your body is the most honest thing about you. Like, that is so true. Your body does not lie. You can, like, I mean, we can go so many different directions with this, but like, when you think about it, you can have the healthiest routine, the most well-developed, efficient morning routine. And then if you are being really mean to yourself, or you're suppressing yourself, suppressing your creativity, you're holding in your rage, you're not speaking up for yourself and your needs, you can still have thyroid issues, even though someone else might look at your life and be like, but you eat really healthy, but you exercise, but you wake up at 5 a.m. and you do your whole like little long morning routine, and but you have a happy relationship, but you have beautiful kids, but you have a lot of friends. Your body is the most honest thing about you. Your body is not lying to you. It's not punishing you. It is literally showing you what it needs. It's giving you all these clues, all of these messages, aka symptoms, trying to get you to see, to map out what could be causing it. So, in this case, using your voice is actually some of the absolute most potent medicine that you could possibly have. So, let's open those throat chakras. I am also going to be diving a lot deeper into the autoimmune angle, because obviously Hashimoto's does involve the thyroid, but there's a whole other aspect to it being the autoimmune aspect. And there are some different emotional root causes and different chart placements to look at for autoimmune. So that will be coming soon. But for now, I would just definitely invite you, if you're like, yes, I want to start to learn how to look at my birth chart and just start to decode and understand how to use your birth chart to have your most healthy, glowy, radiant health and wellness, completely tailored to your energetic blueprint, your soul blueprint, aka your birth chart, then I have a free guide called Cosmic Wellness 101. You can grab it at the link in the show notes, or you can grab it at my Instagram link in my bio, or, YouTube, wherever you are, you can grab it, and that will help you start. Like, that's a very beginner friendly, like, we're not talking about aspects and all of that in that particular guide. I also have a guide that's a little bit more advanced for period pain, your mini astrology guide to period pain. So if you're someone who has like hormone imbalances, painful periods, PCOS, heavy bleeding, or just like womb issues in general, go check that out. That's a guide just kind of taking you through some different placements that can indicate all of those kinds of women's health issues. And also, if you are on a nervous system regulating journey like me, and you really want to learn what your specific nervous system needs, like not just your favorite influencer, like what she likes to do with her like red light therapy and cold plunging or whatever, which like red light therapy is amazing. Cold plunging, for me, it's an absolute no. For women, I think it's terrible. But anyway, you will want to download Mercury Medicine, Your Nervous System Codes, because I go through a few different placements, and I literally, like, all you have to do is pull up your birth chart, find out what these specific placements are that I talk about in the guide, and what houses they're in, which you can find that easily. And then I literally walk you through, like, okay, if you've got this moon and it's in this house, and you've got this Mercury and it's in this house, and da 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 da, like, here are specific nervous system regulating tools that are going to be the most effective for you. So it takes out so much guesswork, because there's so much nervous system content out there. Like, I created Mercury Medicine because I was just overwhelmed by all of the nervous system regulating content. I'm like, surely everyone that has a regulated nervous system can't be doing all of these things. Like, there's just no way. There's so much stuff. Like, you would be spending half your day just trying to regulate your nervous system. And so I just really wanted I'm all about working smarter, not harder. So I wanted to create a guide for us to learn what works the best for us, because we are not all the same. It is not a one size fits all. So if you want to grab Mercury Medicine, then you can also grab it at the link in the show notes or in my bio. And because you are a podcast listener, you get the special gift of a promo code for 20% off. So use the code podcast at checkout, and that will take 20% off of the price. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. Like I said, we'll be talking about autoimmune soon. Also going to talk about, very, very soon, I'm going to be talking about the energetic and emotional root causes and chart placements that can indicate a tendency to hold on to excess weight in your body, excess fat in your body. We'll talk about all of the reasons that could be behind that, which it is pretty complex. So I'll do my best to be as, I guess you could say, all-encompassing as I can. But this is something that I personally am working through right now as well. And so it's definitely a very relevant topic for me, and I know it is for a lot of women as well. So, all right. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope that you learned something and it made you think about where you can speak your truth and use your voice to be your most potent medicine, whether you have a thyroid issue or not. And I thank you for bearing with me today. I know I'm not my most energetic, and I know I kind of went a little blank there a couple times. So, so if you're still listening, I'm so grateful to you, and I would love to hear what you thought of the episode. Over on Instagram, DM me at Intuitively Sydney, and I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. I will talk to you soon. If this episode sparked something in you, share it with a friend who needs it. Take a screenshot, post it to your Instagram story, and tag me at Intuitively Sydney. That's SIDNEY. I would love, love, love to see who's tuning in so I can connect with you and celebrate you. Have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next Tuesday.